This is pushing towards a monopoly in the streaming sector. So
and that is what this administration has been about, controlling it social, where more people have now been getting it.
What all is included in what Paramount's acquiring?
Portfolios of Harry Potter.
Boom.
Lord of the Rings.
Huge.
There is a $2.8 billion cancellation fee for this deal not going through that Warner Bros. Would have had to pay.
They put CBS and CNN under the same hat. As a reminder, the Ellisons are Trump's friends. The corruption is deep and it is obvious, and they do not give a fuck.
What's good, my man? This is The Intersection.
Welcome. We're continuing a conversation because we've talked about Paramount, Netflix, and Warner Brothers already. A lot's happened since we last talked.
Yeah, man. So how you doing, Kanal?
It's crazy. I've been going to a lot of movies recently, so I'm hyped on entertainment. Oscars are coming up to date this recording a little bit. It's been a good year for movies for me as a viewer and lover of movies. It's been great. Behind the scenes, who knows? Not so much.
It's a little crazy behind the scenes.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I think, I've been also into movies and TV shows a little more with everything going on in the world. So that's been where I'm lost in. But this whole streaming war with Netflix and Paramount and the whole Warner Brothers now coming to a conclusion has brought back some worries to me. But we'll get into those worries later.
Yeah.
But we should dive into it.
Let's start with maybe a reminder. I need a refresher. Where did we leave off?
Okay, what we left off at was Netflix having a deal done. They were done.
Yeah.
It was set with Warner Brothers, and then Paramount was like, "Hey, we're coming in with a hostile bid." And if I'm correct, Netflix had a deal for $27 per share. Yeah, $27.75 per share.
Like $70 billion?
$82.7 billion.
Okay,
we're
there
talking
was a
mad
7
money
in there, but it was the
it was the
end of it.
Yeah, you forgot that 82.
Woo.
And then Paramount came in with a hostile bid
$30, right?
For $30 a share.
I remember 30, round number, easy.
Yeah, for $108 billion. So that's what we left off at, and it looked like it wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to. There's
going to be a little bit of a fight,
but it seemed like everybody was saying Netflix was our overall win.
Yeah.
Fast forward after about 7 or 8 bids from Paramount,
they kept just being like, and more money. They threw money at it.
It was just like, what more do you want? You know?
Yeah.
It was looked embarrassing, but I guess it wasn't because they won.
Here's the thing. I feel like we were like, oh, it looks desperate, but they won, and I think they had a greater reason to win because they were also asking for more.
Yeah.
They were trying to go after the whole pie.
Yeah, they went to news.
And Netflix was taking like just 75% of it.
Correct. They weren't taking everything. Yeah, and they won with a bid that was for $31. So, and it's all cash. And
that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's all cash?
All cash, man. It's an all cash deal. Also, let me tell you this.
Jesus Christ.
Because technically everybody wins in this. Even Netflix wins in this because there is a $2.8 billion cancellation fee for this deal not going through that Warner Brothers would have had to pay. But they don't have to pay that because Paramount said, we'll pay that too because we want this deal so bad.
Not everyone wins. We lose.
We do.
We are the losers.
We will lose honestly for both of these deals. So
yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
But this one and most people is worse because Paramount now owns the news. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because what I want to get to is really understanding why everybody's a winner.
Let's phrase this: why these corporations are winners. The people are gonna lose here, and we will talk about it. And maybe here's where we're talking about. But here's how corporations win. The Ellisons win because they don't just get this whole catalog of IPs and movies, which is huge, and we should run down what's all in that. But they also get news. They get CBS. They put CBS and CNN under the same hat. As a reminder, the Ellisons are Trump's friends. Trump has invited them to dinners. Larry or David Ellison was at the State of the Union address.
Yes, they were. And I mean, also, let's just put in there, the chief legal officer is Trump's former head of
antitrust.
So,
just so y'all know.
So how weeded this is.
The corruption is deep and it is obvious and they do not give a fuck.
Yeah, and before you keep going deeper, this is why Netflix also pulled back. When this was announced that Warner Brothers was going to go with this hostile bid.
The cronyism was there.
Yeah. No, hold on.
Oh.
When this bid was, you're hot. Slow down. When this bid was announced, Netflix CEO was at the White House already talking to Trump about like, hey, because to let this be known, Netflix has enough money to go back and forth. They have more money than Paramount to do this. So technically, them saying this is too expensive of a deal is actually a lie. Really, what they went to is they talked to Trump, and basically Trump said, "Y'all not my favorite people," and it's gonna be
I want news to belong to these people who I know and will do stuff and let them have it. Y'all still get your 2.8
the cancellation fee, and then also, at the end of the day, they kind of win. Netflix wins is because Paramount, even though they have all this, we're not even sure if they could really run all this because they got so much debt. And that's
they're gonna cut a lot of people.
Cut a lot of people, but still, historically, everybody that's had Warner Brothers, and you can pick this up from Comcast, AT&T, all of them, had to drop them because it was just a debt. This has been a horrible asset. So we'll see how this goes, even though they have them. But Netflix, I mean, you get $2.8 billion you already paid all your lawyer fees off of that, and plus, more cash. But it's really like where they go from here.
I also want to point out that I think as a Netflix deal was nearing completion, the FCC was already like putting out whispers that they think this is not a good deal. They think that this is pushing towards a monopoly in the streaming sector. So like the government had like the FCC, Brendan Carr, who honestly fucked that dude, had already I hate it. I really hate him. Had already put out the idea that they were going to fight the Netflix deal even without Paramount coming in. When Paramount came in, I think with him talking with what's his name, Sanderson, Netflix CEO, talking to Trump. We know the backroom deals that went into this to make this happen. All right, so Netflix came out pretty clean.
I mean, they came out clean. Their stock jumped 10% afterwards.
Yeah,
because they got cash flow. I mean, they're still the number one streaming service,
Yeah.
And I do understand them talking about the monopoly, but we got a monopoly the other way around in the news, going full conservative. But
we can't talk about that.
Can't talk about that because administration.
That's different.
Oh, no.
Different.
Yeah. But you want me to break down what's the difference of what Paramount got and what Netflix got, and I can tell you what's all in there.
Well, also, I think it doesn't matter what Netflix got. What all is included in what Paramount's acquiring right now? I think
so
we keep talking about it, but let's list it all out so people know what we mean.
Yes.
You got the list?
I got it right here. So with Paramount, what they're going to have is they're going to have the franchise portfolios of Harry Potter,
boom,
Lord of the Rings,
huge,
Game of the Thrones,
whoa,
DC Universe,
amazing,
Mission Impossible.
Whoa, wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Top Gun, Star Trek, Transformers, SpongeBob. Okay.
Wait. Is it SpongeBob or is it all? It's all of Nickelodeon.
It is all of Nickelodeon.
But SpongeBob was kind of the
high. I was just giving the high. Also, CNN, cable, TNT, TBS, Cartoon Network, Discovery Plus, HGTV, Food Network, MTV, Nickelodeon,
I like
Comedy
you said Food Network and really looked at me because that one does hurt.
Yeah.
And Comedy Central, which, let's be honest, is some people's source of news with The Daily Show.
Hey, man. So a lot going on. Also, which is interesting, which is not talked about enough, is part of the NFL is going over there. Champions League, the Premier League are consolidated to all these platforms. So a good amount of sports is going over there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. The sad part of this is there will be layoffs. Paramount is taking over 90 plus billion in debt. They're going to lay off people, sadly.
Not only are they going to lay off people in the internal structure, there's a ticking clock on The Daily Show right now. There's a ticking clock on your CNN broadcasters like Jake Tapper. We've seen what they did with Colbert and with 60 Seconds.
Talent will be replaced or will be.
They're going to get. The Daily Show does not last longer than 2 years in this case, and that's a really long estimate.
That's a pretty long estimate. It's going to. Maybe not. Maybe not. The only reason why I say maybe not is because this deal does have to go through a lot of regulatory things to move through that you can't even get through.
Here's my prediction. This will take a year to fully get cleared. And then, so we'll be past midterms. They'll lay quiet for a year, and then in preparation for the potential presidential election, which is a different conversation, they'll start cutting sources. And presenters and news sources.
I have
That's my prediction.
I have no predictions on it because I'm not even 100% sure that honestly that they can fully take this on. Like the money doesn't add up to make this work, and this kind of looks like to me of how like when Elon took over Twitter and just ran it down, that this might just be a rundown, might not be a full replacement, and then what they do to get their money back. Like most private equity firms do, they sell their portfolio. They sell the hair.
They'll chop it up and sell pieces.
And Netflix comes back and gets it, or Apple, Amazon will play a role in trying to scoop it up. And they get a real high bid, and that covers up a lot of their debt, and they shut down the news that way.
I do think we'll see IP get traded around, but I'm specifically thinking that the news will get chopped the way we've already seen it start to happen.
Question, because I think we're talking chopped in the same way, but in a different way. I think you're talking chopped as they're taking away ads and replacing it, and CNN becomes this new CNN that's just more.
I think CNN they'll start replacing hosts and they'll create new programming. I think Daily Show just gets cut.
I don't think CNN even lasts. I don't think we see CNN last past that. I think it's just ran to the ground.
So I think that they keep because I don't fully understand, but I don't think even if they change the name, I think they'll keep the channel that exists on cable, and they'll replace it with like OAN.
OAN is not under Paramount, is it?
No, but they hired the head of CBS was a former.
Yeah, but they have CBS, so I think CBS
OAN person, but they'll do CBS, and then they'll want 24 hours. OAN currently already has like streamers that do 24 hours. They're gonna want to put them on cable news.
I got you. You're saying not OAN coming over under them. You're saying those people that are.
They're just gonna get hired.
Yeah. I just don't see it. I don't even see it being a hiring process. I see there's no need to keep CNN going besides the cable thing, and you sell that off to one of OAN so they could just buy and have it full control.
Maybe I think the way that billionaires now want to have a tight grip on a media news source, CNN, whether they change its name recognition, whether they get rid of its people, is a constant 24-hour news stream. That's an amazing thing to have a control over right now. So I don't imagine that there's a reason to really just let it go. I think you transform it and make it what you need it to be, the way Bezos has done with the Washington Post. And honestly, with Musk and X, does it make a lot of financial sense? No, but is doing what it needs to do for him.
Yeah, but I think X is a prime example of watering something down and making it not even close to what it is. And I think why I look at it a little different of like why you probably don't want a 24-hour news cycle and you don't care if it dissipates is because less information is moving out. And that is what this administration has been about, and they've really been about controlling it social, where more people have now been getting it. Okay. And I feel that with that, this has been something that conservatives have done. Like, we can say that X is working well for Elon, but the whole point of X, why it's working well, is because he made sure everybody like us are gone. So he dissipates. It's just there. It's just there. Like, there's still very few people that are, but they've moved over to Threads. They've moved over to try to go Blue Sky. But if you go to X, it's just mostly conservatives talking to conservatives. It's just hell over there.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what happens because are you going to continue watching CNN? How many people are going to continue? It's already been people walking away with CNN kind of.
I understand what you're saying. If I was in this position, I would transform it and push the people I want saying things onto there. It becomes, Fox News is not quite like state media, right? It's not quite Russian news anymore. Yeah. It's not the same vibe. I think you can have CNN become that kind of like mouthpiece of the government 24 hours, like, and you will have people that will tune into that. their faithful, their followers will go there. They vied for it so hard that I think just tearing it down and doing nothing with it is not a great use case for that.
Yeah, I can see that. But I just feel like that's why truth is there. That's why Donald Trump has truth, and his following already follows on that side. Like we take screenshots from that to go over.
I think this is a time where like it works for Trump, but like I mean you can't bet on when dictators will pass, but is old, right? But I think the billionaire regime that can continue after his wake would use a source like CNN in the long term. We're now getting into like long term theories, so let's
we could jump straight to like the. I mean, we're already in the problematic.
We're in the problematic. That's the news side. Let's talk about the streaming side. What does this mean? How big is this like potential streaming service now? Because this seems like it's pretty much all of HBO, Nickelodeon.
It's all of Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus.
It's big. It puts them within the top, not higher still though, than Netflix and then Disney. That is next.
They must be like right next to Disney.
Yeah, like right there. I think they'll be like 6 or 5. Honestly, while we bring up Disney, Disney's a winner in this. I mean, there's some worries, but
why is Disney a winner?
Disney's a winner is because Netflix was taking their time and worried about this deal, so they weren't focused on what kind of content they were building or a strategy if this doesn't go through. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were kind of, but like they were more worried about this. Paramount took on hella debt, as we said, 90+ billion. So right there, they're not off on a good starting. And Disney, while that was going on, has been making deals and, utilizing partnerships to grow and I think strategize and get back in order of what they're trying to do. I think also with that is with Paramount being behind and now taking over sports, which Disney I think does have to worry about because they have sports,
ESPN, right?
With ESPN and everything. But I think they're so ahead and Paramount that might not know how to deal with the sports and might not handle it, that might move over to someone else and they could be the first ones to pick that up.
Yeah, you listed a lot of IP that I think our age group has a lot of nostalgia for, and even younger kids also have a lot of love for. So there will be a lot of competition across these IP with DC and Marvel, with Star Trek, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and I don't know what Disney has a lot of magical fantasy stuff as well. It feels like Paramount sees maybe a lot of the like adult nostalgic like 30+ demographic IPs that are really interesting. So maybe they'll be able to do something with it. But do you think Disney has some moves they're going to try and make this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think their move this year is to get in order the Marvel. Get that order. Right now, with Paramount taking over, and as DC fans, we know there's always somebody new taking over DC. Who knows what's happening now? I just want to say this. I just need to get this off. I just want a Flash movie. My brother just wants a Flash movie.
You got a Flash movie?
That wasn't it.
Yeah, it was real
That wasn't
bad.
it.
It was real bad.
That wasn't it. We know what I'm talking about.
I really did like that Flash movie.
The crazy part, the Warner Bros. Had a great show, and they could have just made that. But that story off subject. But us DC fans are definitely, I don't know what's still going on. We'll see.
Hey, maybe we'll get another Superman movie about how he's a child from Krypton.
We're just starting over. I feel like the reset button has been like every 2 years.
Yeah, it's a lot. And Blue Beetle was good.
Yeah, that was fire. That was fire. Great movie. Great movie. If you haven't seen it.
Nothing came out of that.
Yeah. Oh, but you told me about the partnership that Disney had with OpenAI.
I think AI is maybe the next thing that'll come up in the streaming wars. It's something that we are all actively talking about and pushing back against and using in some of its own ways. But Disney has started like licensing some of its IP for Sora. Okay. Which is OpenAI's like imaging platform or agent, so that you can use Disney animated characters within that platform. Okay. Legally. Which comes as a surprise considering that just a few years ago, Disney was suing anyone who was using AI to recreate Star Wars characters or Disney anime like characters. So like to have now Disney be on the other side and license it where they're even now looking to promote certain creators who are using AI animations. So the line though, and I think there's a lot of disagreements about whether this is okay and how unions and animators are taking this, but Sora can use the images that come out of the Disney portfolio that they're like allowing to be used by OpenAI, but it cannot use live actor like faces. So you act in a Disney movie, you're not going to see like Luke Skywalker
or Will Smith
or Will Smith. But you might see like any of the Disney cartoon movies,
like Goofy.
Yeah, Goofy, Mickey, stuff like that. I'm not sure. I think we might have some of the licenses that they've pushed, and also no voice acting.
Okay,
is allowed. I know that was a big part of the union fights last year in LA with the Screen Actors Guild, the Writers Guild. I think the Animators Guild is likely getting screwed on this. So the next time that it's come to negotiate, they will likely have a lot of complaints and might bring back some kind of fight about how their drawings are getting used by AI, and now Disney's trying to just pay the AI prompters and creators for the reimagining of original cartoons. That seems fucked.
So we got a lot going on here in a lot of different ways in the streaming world.
Yeah, I think there will also be, will Netflix work with AI?
Yes.
And so what does that look like?
There's some brand new news about that. Literally happened yesterday. Ben Affleck has an AI company that was bought by Netflix. I do not know all of the ins and out, but it definitely has to do with writing. But I know Ben Affleck has been huge about like keeping the hands in the writers and saying AI can't do everything. So I have not looked into his company. It's definitely probably be maybe a part 3, you guys. But like,
I think this is a conversation we will keep returning to.
Yeah,
because I think the AI conversation is going to be a huge part in streaming, but also the new formats of our original movies, original shows, but then also what are being called like the vertical shows. Yeah. And how do those integrate across these different platforms?
We got a lot to see. I mean, we'll see in the upcoming months, this whole year. So we'll see it play out, and we'll keep you guys updated.
We'll keep you updated, and we stand with our union friends.
Definitely, all
the
LA
time. And across the country.
Across the world, too.
Across the world. Are there That's a different
yes, there are unions.
They're not. I feel like the movie ones aren't that strong.
Pretty strong in Europe. But we'll talk later about that.
That's a part 3.
But hey, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on social media, and also, find us on Spotify or Apple. Appreciate y'all.
Leave comments, engage, hit the bell.
Deuces.